Here's the hard truth. If a woman isn't interested in you, she's already showing it loud and clear. Most men don't realize this. They keep chasing, texting, calling, and investing energy into someone who's already made her decision. You've probably been there before. You meet a woman you're drawn to. You put in the effort, but something feels off. She takes hours to reply. She cancels plans last minute. She treats you like an option while you treat her like a priority. Deep down, you sense it, but your hope keeps you hooked. And that's where most guys waste months, even years, on women who were never really interested to begin with. The truth is, women don't reject you with words. Most of the time, they reject you with actions. And unless you know how to read those actions, you'll keep falling into the same trap over and over again. But here's the good news. Once you understand these signals, you'll never be confused again. You'll save yourself from unnecessary pain, wasted time, and emotional energy. More importantly, you'll instantly separate the women who value you from those who don't. That's where your power as a man truly begins. In this video, I'll break down the clearest signs that she's simply not interested and what you should do about it. Some of these will shock you, some will hurt, but all of them will set you free. Let's get into it. Number 1. She doesn't respect your time. Let's be honest, time is the one resource you can never get back. And yet, when a woman isn't truly interested in you, the very first thing she'll disrespect is your time. She won't say it outright. She won't tell you, "I don't like you." Instead, she'll show it by how casually she treats the hours, the days, and even the weeks you're investing in her. Think about it. When a woman is genuinely attracted to a man, she'll make time, no matter how busy she is. If she's drowning in deadlines at work, she'll still squeeze in a call, send a text, or plan to see him even if it's just for a coffee break. Why? Because interest creates urgency. But when she doesn't respect your time, every little interaction turns into an excuse. She's too busy, she forgot to reply, or she lost track of time. Here's a real example. Mark, 28, works in tech sales in Dallas. He met a woman named Ashley, 25, at a friend's party. At first, he was excited. She seemed fun. She gave him her number, and he thought things were off to a great start. But soon, the pattern became clear. Every time he asked her out, she'd either cancel last minute or push it off to maybe next week. When they finally met up, she was late, sometimes 20 minutes, sometimes 40. Mark brushed it off because he was hooked on the idea of her. But deep down, he knew something was wrong. Ashley wasn't disrespecting just his schedule, she was disrespecting him. Now, contrast that with a woman who's genuinely interested. If Mark had met someone who was into him, she wouldn't make him wait around wondering. She'd show up on time or even early. She'd text if she was running behind. That's the difference. Respect for time is really respect for you. The Stoics had a phrase for this: "Do not squander time, for it is the stuff life is made of." Marcus Aurelius himself wrote that wasting time on people who don't value you is one of the greatest forms of self-betrayal. And that's exactly what happens when you tolerate a woman who disrespects your time. You're betraying yourself by allowing her lack of interest to dictate your schedule, your emotions, and your energy. So how do you handle it? You don't argue, you don't beg, you don't lecture her about punctuality. You do something far more powerful. You withdraw your time. You show her, not through words but through action, that your hours are not to be wasted. You stop rearranging your life around her flakiness. And if she truly wants you, she'll notice the difference. If she doesn't, she'll drift away, and that's exactly what you want, because now you've filtered out someone who never valued you in the first place. Remember, a woman who makes you wait endlessly is sending a silent message. You're not her priority. And as painful as that truth can feel, it's far better to recognize it early than to waste months or even years hoping she'll change, because she won't. So let me ask you, have you ever been in Mark's position, waiting for someone who couldn't even show up on time? If so, drop it in the comments and affirm your standard with this: I value my time. And here's the key. Once you truly embody that, women will feel it. They'll see that your time is scarce, valuable, and not given freely to just anyone. That alone makes you stand out. Because while most men are willing to wait, chase, and beg, the man who walks away when his time is disrespected, that's the man she remembers. Number 2. She's always on her phone. There's nothing that kills attraction faster than feeling invisible. And one of the clearest signs that a woman is not truly interested in you is simple. She's always on her phone. Think about it. You're sitting across from her at dinner, telling a story, maybe even trying to open up, and her eyes keep drifting down to the glowing screen in her hand. She scrolls, she types, she laughs at something that has nothing to do with you. What does that tell you? That she'd rather escape into her notifications than be present with you. When a woman is truly drawn to a man, her attention naturally locks onto him. The phone stays in her bag, face down, forgotten, because nothing on that screen could compare to the energy she feels in that moment. But when she doesn't care, the phone becomes her shield. It's a barrier that says, I'd rather be anywhere else. The Stoics spoke deeply about attention. Epictetus warned, you become what you give your attention to. And in relationships, attention is currency. When she's giving her attention to her phone instead of you, she's telling you exactly where you rank in her world: second place, third place, maybe not even on the list. The mistake men make is ignoring this red flag, rationalizing it, or worse, competing with the phone by trying harder to impress her. But the truth is, you should never have to fight for attention. Now here's the critical part. Don't confuse occasional distraction with disinterest. We all live in a digital age. Everyone checks their phone sometimes. But if she's glued to it during your time together, if every silence is filled with scrolling, if she laughs more at texts than at your jokes, then it's not about technology. It's about her lack of investment in you. And this is where a Stoic mindset protects you. Instead of reacting with anger or insecurity, you observe calmly. Marcus Aurelius wrote, you always own the option of having no opinion. You don't need to argue with her about respect or demand she put the phone away. You simply register the truth of her behavior and decide accordingly. If her presence is divided, then so should your investment be. Here's the reality. A woman who values you will want to give you her full attention. You won't need to ask. Her phone won't even matter when she's with you, because she'll be more interested in the man in front of her than the pixels on her screen. If that's not happening, it's not your job to fix it. It's your job to recognize it. And here's something men rarely admit. When she's always on her phone, you can feel it. You feel that little drop in your chest, that sense of being dismissed, of not being important enough. That's your intuition. And ignoring it is what keeps men stuck in situations where they're tolerated instead of desired. So here's the standard. Never compete with a phone. If she chooses it over you consistently, you've already got your answer. Respect yourself enough to step back. As the Stoics would remind us, your peace of mind and your dignity are worth more than temporary attention from someone who isn't invested. Now, let me ask you, have you ever sat across from a woman and realized her phone had more of her attention than you did? If so, drop it in the comments and affirm this simple truth: I deserve presence. And remember, when you live by that standard, something changes. You stop begging for attention, and you start commanding it, because women can feel when a man values himself enough to walk away from being treated like a distraction. And that, ironically, is when the right woman puts her phone down, not because you told her to, but because she genuinely wants to. Number 3, she's too busy for you. One of the most common excuses a man hears when a woman isn't genuinely interested is, I'm just really busy right now. At first, it sounds reasonable. After all, everyone has responsibilities: work, school, family, personal goals. But here's the truth you need to face. When a woman truly wants you in her life, she will always find time. Always. Let's make it real with an example. Imagine Daniel, 32, working long shifts in New York as a financial analyst. He meets Claire, 28, a nurse who works nights at a hospital. Both of them have brutal schedules. Yet when Claire was interested, she would text him during her 10-minute breaks, FaceTime him at 2 a.m. after a shift, and squeeze in coffee before her weekend sleep. Why? Because interest fuels effort. If she cares, her calendar will bend. If she doesn't, you'll just hear the words, "I've been busy." Now compare that to when Daniel started dating another woman, Lisa, 30. She would constantly say she was too busy to meet, too busy to reply to texts for days, too busy to plan even a short call. Yet Daniel later found out she had been going to brunches, hitting yoga classes, and scrolling TikTok late into the night. Was she really too busy? Number. She just wasn't prioritizing him. This is where Stoicism gives us clarity. Epictetus reminds us, if someone is showing you their true nature, don't wish it to be different. Too many men waste their mental energy wishing she would make time, convincing themselves that maybe next week will be better, maybe her schedule will finally open up. But what you see is what it is. If she says she's too busy, and her actions confirm it, she's telling you that you're not a priority. The mistake most men make is chasing harder. They think persistence will break through the wall of busyness. But think about it. Do you really want to be someone's afterthought? Do you want to be squeezed into the leftover minutes of her life like an errand she reluctantly checks off? A woman who values you will carve out time with intention, not out of obligation. Another example, picture Michael, 27, who met Emily, 25, on a dating app in Los Angeles. The first few weeks, Emily was enthusiastic, responding quickly, making plans. But then the "I'm busy" excuses started. Suddenly she had endless deadlines, family issues, and events. Yet Michael noticed she still posted Instagram stories from dinners and parties. That was his wake-up call. She wasn't busy, she was busy for him. This is where your standards matter. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." In relationships, that means don't waste time arguing for her attention. A good man respects his time too much to keep chasing someone who clearly doesn't value it. Here's the shift you need to make. Stop interpreting "I'm busy" as a challenge. Interpret it as information. If she says she's too busy and makes no effort to show otherwise, take it as the clearest signal of all she's not invested. And that's not something you can fix by pushing harder. Instead, flip the frame. Ask yourself, am I busy building my own life? Am I investing in my growth, my health, my mission? Because when you fill your life with purpose, you'll stop begging for a place in someone else's schedule. You'll naturally attract women who want to be part of the world you're creating. Women who don't say, "I'm too busy," but instead ask, "When can I see you?" So here's the bottom line. Women make time for what they value. If she's too busy for you, she's already answered the question you're afraid to ask. Respect yourself enough to listen. And let me ask you this. Have you ever been in a situation where "I'm busy" really just meant "I'm not interested"? If so, drop it in the comments and affirm this truth. I value my time. Because once you truly believe that, you'll never again waste energy chasing someone who doesn't. You'll stop waiting around for scraps of attention, and instead, you'll invest your energy where it's wanted. And that's where real attraction begins. Number 4. She barely talks to you. Let's be honest, silence speaks louder than words. When a woman barely talks to you, she's already telling you where you stand in her life. You don't need her to say, "I'm not interested," because her lack of conversation already says it for her. Think about it. When you're genuinely curious about someone, you ask questions. You want to know how their day went, what excites them, what stresses them out. That's human nature. Interest drives connection. But when she barely speaks, gives one-word answers, or constantly forgets to reply, you're not dealing with busyness, you're dealing with disinterest. Now here's the trap many men fall into. They interpret her silence as a puzzle to solve. They think, maybe if I say the right thing, maybe if I make her laugh, she'll finally open up. But the truth is, communication is like a mirror. If she's invested, she'll naturally reflect effort back. If she isn't, you can throw out the wittiest texts in the world and you'll still get cold, empty responses. The Stoics warned us about this kind of self-deception. Epictetus once said, "If someone is not showing you affection, do not demand it." That line is powerful. It reminds us that forcing connection is a waste of energy. If she's not offering conversation freely, that's a reflection of her lack of emotional investment, not of your worth. Let's take this further. Many men rationalize her silence with excuses. She's just shy, or she's bad at texting, or maybe she's going through something. And yes, those scenarios are possible. But here's the test. If she wanted to talk to you, she would. Interest overrides shyness. Interest finds words, even clumsy ones. Interest makes time, even in chaos. So when she barely talks to you, don't mistake that for mystery. It's not a challenge to conquer, it's a message to accept. Her silence isn't a riddle to solve. It's clarity being handed to you on a silver platter. Now, this doesn't just apply to texting or calling. Pay attention in person. Does she maintain eye contact, lean in and engage? Or does she give short, distracted replies, checking her phone or looking away? Words are only half the equation. Real communication shows in energy, in presence. And if she can barely muster either, then her heart isn't in it. Marcus Aurelius put it best. If something is not right, don't waste time pretending it is. And yet, so many men waste months, even years, pretending. They hold on to scraps of interaction, mistaking them for interest. A hey here, a smile there, and suddenly they convince themselves there's a spark. But deep down they know, if she barely talks, there's nothing real to hold on to. So, what should you do instead? First, respect the signal. Don't keep pouring effort into a dry well. Recognize her silence for what it is, an indication of where you stand. Second, redirect your energy inward. Are you cultivating your own confidence, your own pursuits, your own circle? Because the man who builds himself naturally attracts women who want to engage, who can't wait to talk to him, who make conversation effortless. Here's the bottom line. When she barely talks to you, stop trying to force her to. Instead, listen. Her silence is the answer you've been avoiding. And let me leave you with a simple but powerful question. Why chase after someone who struggles to give you words, when there are women out there waiting to give you whole conversations, laughter, and connection without hesitation? If you've ever experienced this, where her silence told you everything you needed to know, drop a comment and affirm this truth. I don't chase silence, I choose connection. End quote. Because once you embrace that, you'll stop fighting for scraps and start building relationships where words flow naturally and freely. That's where real intimacy begins. Number 5. She avoids being alone with you. Let's be brutally honest. When a woman is truly interested in you, she craves intimacy. Not just physical intimacy, but private time where the two of you can connect, laugh, and share without distractions. On the other hand, when she avoids being alone with you, it's one of the clearest, loudest signs that she's not interested. Take Michael, 29. He met a woman at work and asked her out several times. Every single time she agreed, but only if co-workers came along. Michael convinced himself she was just cautious, or maybe shy. But weeks passed, and the pattern repeated. Group settings only, never one-on-one. Eventually, the truth sank in. She wasn't cautious, she just didn't want to be alone with him. Now contrast that with Jessica, 24. She met a guy through her college friends. Within days, she was finding excuses to see him one-on-one, grabbing coffee, studying together, even running errands. She wanted privacy because she wanted connection. That's the difference. When she likes you, she looks for moments with just you. When she doesn't, she builds walls of other people, excuses, and distance. Here's the trap many men fall into. They rationalize. They say, she's shy, or she just needs more time to feel comfortable. But avoidance isn't shyness, it's disinterest. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. In this case, if she's not showing real desire to be with you privately, the truth is right in front of you. Avoidance shows itself in subtle patterns. She'll happily meet in groups, but cancels when it's just the two of you. She might agree to dinner, but suddenly invite a friend last minute. She keeps conversations surface level, steering away from anything vulnerable. And while you might tell yourself these are coincidences, they're not, they're choices. Men often take this personally. They think, if she doesn't want to be alone with me, I must not be good enough. But here's the reality. It's not about your worth, it's about her level of attraction. Compatibility can't be forced. Why invest your time into someone who sees privacy with you as uncomfortable when there are women who would feel lucky just to share a coffee in silence with you? The Stoics were masters of clarity. They taught us to focus only on what lies within our control. You can't control her attraction. You can't force her to want to be with you. But you can control how you interpret her actions. You can choose to waste months in denial, or you can choose to recognize the truth early and free yourself from false hope. Here's the hard pill. If she consistently avoids private time, she's not confused, she's not undecided, she's simply not interested. And when you accept that, you reclaim your power. You stop being the guy who chases, and you become the man who values his own time enough to walk away. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever noticed a woman avoiding being alone with you, but you kept making excuses for her behavior? Share your experience in the comments, because once you train yourself to see avoidance for what it truly is, you'll never waste your energy on dead ends again. And that's how you shift from frustration to freedom. So, don't mistake her pattern. Don't wait for her to change. The moment you see this sign, you know exactly where you stand. And in the next section, we'll look at another subtle behavior that often goes unnoticed, but speaks volumes about where her interest really lies. Number 6. She shows no physical interest. One of the clearest ways to know a woman is not interested in you is not through what she says, but through what her body refuses to say. Words can be polite, casual, or even misleading. But the body is far more honest. If she truly desires you, her actions will reveal it, leaning in closer, touching your arm lightly, holding eye contact just a little longer. And if she does not, those small but powerful gestures will be missing. Think about the last time you were around someone who was genuinely excited to see you. Their face lit up, their body opened toward you, their energy pulled you in. Now compare that to a woman who seems distant. She keeps space between you, avoids touch, or stiffens if you get close. That contrast is everything. It is the unspoken truth. The Stoics often reminded us to focus on reality instead of illusions. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." What he meant was, stop chasing appearances or fantasies. Many men refuse to face what is right in front of them. They tell themselves she is shy, or tired, or just not ready yet. But most of the time, her body language is giving you the real answer. You just do not want to accept it. This is not about demanding affection. It is about reciprocity. Attraction is mutual by nature. When a woman is drawn to you, she finds reasons to get closer. She will mirror your movements, playfully brush your arm, or lean into your space. If you are the only one doing that while she quietly pulls away, that is not attraction. That is resistance. The problem is, Too many men rationalize it. They invest more energy, thinking effort will change her response. But Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You must stop talking about what a good man is like and just be one. Being a good man means being honest with yourself. If she shows no physical interest, that is not a challenge for you to overcome. It is a message. She does not feel the same way. Does that mean she is wrong or unkind? Not at all. Attraction cannot be forced. What matters is whether you respect yourself enough to see the truth. Because every moment spent chasing someone who does not desire you is a moment stolen from the chance to connect with someone who does. Her lack of physical cues is not subtle if you are willing to watch. Closed posture, crossed arms, avoiding eye contact, leaning back when you move forward, these are all signals. On the other hand, when a woman is genuinely interested, even the smallest gestures will draw you in. A warm smile, a playful nudge, or the simple willingness to stay close. Here is where Stoicism becomes practical. Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Too many men waste their lives waiting for a woman to suddenly show desire when she has already shown disinterest. Accepting what is real does not weaken you, it frees you. It frees you to redirect your time, your energy, and your confidence towards someone who truly values you. So, if you find yourself wondering whether she is into you, stop analyzing her words, watch her actions. If her body avoids connection, if her touch never comes, if the space between you never closes, you already have your answer. And the strongest thing you can do is respect yourself enough to move forward. Now I want you to reflect. Have you ever ignored the signs because you did not want to face the truth? Drop it in the comments with this simple line: I choose clarity. And remember, the men who learn to trust reality over illusion don't just save themselves from wasted time. They become the kind of men who attract women who genuinely want them. And that is a game changer. Number 7. She flirts with other guys. One of the hardest pills to swallow is this. If a woman is interested in you, her attention naturally gravitates toward you. If she is giving her playful energy, her smiles, her touches, and her laughter to other men, while you stand there waiting, it is a clear signal. She is showing where her attraction flows, and it is not toward you. Now, let's be real. In social settings, light banter with friends or colleagues is normal, but there's a big difference between casual friendliness and deliberate flirtation. When she leans in close, laughs at jokes that aren't even funny, or touches another man's arm while ignoring yours, she is communicating something important without saying a word. Take, for example, Ryan, a 8-year-old software developer from Chicago. He had been seeing a woman for a few weeks, but every time they went out in a group, she spent most of the night chatting with other guys. She smiled wider, laughed louder, and seemed fully engaged with them, while Ryan was left on the sidelines. Deep down, he knew what that meant, but he kept hoping things would change. It didn't. The truth was simple. Her attention was her choice, and she chose to direct it elsewhere. Or think of Jessica, a 5-year-old marketing assistant from Austin. She was casually dating someone, but when she went out with friends, she couldn't stop sending signals to other men. Light touches, playful teasing, subtle but obvious signs of attraction. To her, it was harmless fun, but to the guy who thought they were building something serious, it was a harsh reality check. Jessica's actions made it clear her heart and her interest weren't fully invested in him. This is where many men get stuck. They see the flirting, but instead of accepting it, they rationalize. They say, she's just being friendly, or that's just her personality. And maybe sometimes that's true. But ask yourself this: if she truly valued you, would she let her actions repeatedly make you feel like second place? The Stoics taught us that what people choose to do reveals their character. Epictetus reminded us, if you want the truth, look to what a person does, not what they say. Words can be excuses, Actions are confessions. If she consistently flirts with other men in your presence, she is telling you where you stand. The deeper issue is self-respect. A man who values himself doesn't compete for scraps of attention. He doesn't cling tighter when a woman shows him she'd rather play games elsewhere. Instead, he sees the truth for what it is and steps back with dignity. That's not weakness, it's strength. Because by walking away from the wrong woman, you make space for the right one. And let's be honest, when a woman is truly interested in you, you don't need to decode her behavior. You won't be left wondering. Her energy, her focus, her flirtation will be directed toward you, and you'll feel it without doubt. If you're stuck asking yourself why she flirts with everyone else, the answer is already in front of you. Now, I want you to pause and reflect. Have you ever ignored the signs, telling yourself she would eventually see your worth? Share it with me in the comments by writing, "I deserve better." And remember, recognizing when her energy is scattered isn't about bitterness, it's about clarity. The men who can see the truth, accept it, and move forward are the men who free themselves from wasting time and open the door to real, mutual attraction. And that, more than anything, will set you apart. Number 8. She puts you in the friend zone. Few words sting more than hearing, "You're such a good friend." At first it sounds like a compliment, but underneath, it's a label, a signal that she doesn't see you as a romantic or sexual partner. Instead, you've been safely placed in a box where attraction doesn't exist. The friend zone isn't just about what she says, it's about what she does. When she shares her problems with you but never her passion, when she calls you for advice but not for intimacy, when she leans on you for emotional support but looks to other men for desire, she's drawing a line. A line that says, you are safe, dependable, but not the man who excites her heart. Why does this happen? Often it's because you've shown too much availability without sparking desire. You've been kind, attentive, always there when she needs you, but without polarity, without edge. And attraction, by its nature, needs contrast. The Stoics understood this. Seneca once said, "To love is to admire with the mind as well as the senses." Without the balance of both respect and desire, love collapses into something one-sided, comfortable, but lifeless. Men who fall into the friend zone usually fear rocking the boat. They think, if I keep being nice, eventually she'll realize I'm the one. But that's not how attraction works. If she doesn't feel it, she won't suddenly wake up one morning and see you differently. The spark either exists or it doesn't. And the more you play the role of the safe friend, the deeper you cement yourself in that role. But here's the truth most men need to hear. Being in the friend zone isn't about her rejecting you, it's about you not setting boundaries. You teach people how to treat you. If you allow yourself to be her emotional sponge without receiving anything in return, you've agreed to the role, whether you realize it or not. A Stoic mindset offers freedom here. Epictetus taught, if you want something outside your control, you will be enslaved. Wanting her affection when she clearly doesn't offer it puts you in chains of false hope. Letting go, on the other hand, restores your dignity. Instead of waiting for scraps of interest, you reclaim your time, your energy, your presence. And here's the surprising part. Sometimes stepping away from the friend zone is what shifts her perspective. Not because you're trying to manipulate her, but because you've stopped giving unconditional attention without reciprocity. By walking away, you remind both her and yourself that you are not defined by her validation. Now, let me ask you, have you ever stayed too long in the friend zone, hoping things would change? Share it in the comments by writing, "I choose myself." Remember this, every time you accept being just a friend when you want more, you trade your authenticity for comfort. And that comfort is an illusion. The men who rise above this trap are the ones who dare to honor their own worth. Stay tuned, because the next truth we'll uncover might just shift how you see every interaction with women. Number 9. She only wants attention, not you. One of the clearest signs a woman isn't genuinely interested is when she thrives on your attention but has no intention of giving anything back. She texts you when she's bored, calls when she's lonely, or lights up your phone with selfies not because she misses you, but because she enjoys the energy you provide. It's not about you, it's about the attention. Let's put this into perspective. Imagine Jake, 29, who works long hours as a software developer. He's been talking to Emily, 27, for months. She always responds quickly when she's having a slow day, but whenever Jake tries to invite her out, there's always an excuse. She's too tired, already has plans, or not really in the mood. Still, she keeps him around because his attention fills a gap in her day. And Jake, hoping she'll eventually warm up, continues to text, call, and shower her with interest. This is where many men get stuck. They confuse her desire for attention with desire for them. But there's a massive difference. When a woman wants you, she invests, she shows effort, she creates opportunities to be with you. But when she only wants attention, she's perfectly happy to take without ever giving. Philosophically, the Stoics warned us about this dynamic. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The value of a man is measured by the objects he pursues." If your pursuit is a woman who only takes your attention without offering genuine connection, you're measuring your worth against something shallow. The danger here isn't her, it's the fact that you're allowing yourself to become a tool for her validation. Now, it's easy to think that maybe she just needs more time, but attention-driven women rarely change their behavior. If she's not investing after weeks or months, she's not suddenly going to. And the longer you stay in this pattern, the more energy you waste. The truth is, when you stop feeding her with attention, her interest usually disappears overnight. Why? Because it was never about you in the first place. You were just the mirror she used to reflect her self-worth, and once the mirror is gone, she looks for another one. So how do you handle this? By setting boundaries and recognizing your value. Attention should be mutual, not one-sided. If you feel drained instead of inspired after interacting with her, that's a red flag. Remember, your energy is currency. Don't spend it where it won't be respected. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever realized you were just someone's source of attention? Drop a comment and affirm it with, "I know my worth." And stay with me, because what comes next will dig even deeper into the patterns that reveal true interest versus empty validation. Number 10. She's not interested, walk away. There comes a point when you have to stop decoding signals, stop making excuses for her behavior, and accept the truth. She's simply not interested. It's not about being harsh, it's about being honest with her and with yourself. Every man who has been stuck chasing a woman who gives nothing back knows this moment. And yet, most struggle to do the one thing that would set them free: walk away. Here's the reality. Attraction cannot be negotiated. You cannot argue, prove, or text your way into her feelings. When she's interested, you'll know. She'll make time, she'll put in effort, she'll respond with enthusiasm. When she's not, you'll feel the cold distance no matter how much energy you pour into her. And the longer you stay, the more you condition yourself to accept crumbs when you deserve a feast. The Stoics gave us wisdom here. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." In the context of dating, walking away might feel foolish at first. Friends may ask why you stopped talking to her, or why you didn't try harder. But true strength lies in refusing to invest where your presence isn't valued. You are not walking away from her, you are walking toward your own self-respect. Think about it. When you stop chasing the wrong woman, you create space for the right one to enter. Many men miss out on real opportunities because they're trapped trying to win over someone who has already shown them disinterest. Walking away is not losing, it's choosing. Choosing peace over chaos, clarity over confusion, and dignity over desperation. So, if she's not showing respect, effort, or interest, don't linger. Don't Don't try to twist her no into a yes. Your time is too valuable, your energy too precious. Walking away is not weakness. It's the final, undeniable proof that you understand your worth. So today, we've uncovered the clearest signs that show when a woman simply isn't interested. From ignoring your time, to avoiding being alone with you, to seeking attention without giving anything back, each sign is a reminder that your energy is valuable and you shouldn't waste it where it's not respected. The real value of this video is simple. Once you recognize these patterns, you gain back control. You no longer cling to the wrong person. You choose yourself, your time, and your peace. And that shift alone makes you stronger, more attractive, and ready for the woman who truly deserves you. If you found this video helpful, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next lesson. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.